Well, what's up, plant lovers? I'm Devin Wallien, and I'm having a nice little bonfire, burning some wood while I'm out here in the garden getting some work done. We're in the middle of autumn here in Westchester, Pennsylvania, Zone 6B, and I gotta say, working in the garden in the autumn and winter time, probably my favorite time to be out in the yard. It's just nice and crisp, and there's just something magical in the air. It's an awesome opportunity to get some of the work done that's just really too challenging to get done during the summer months when there's a lot of growth happening. So in this video, I'm gonna go through 10 different activities or chores, you could say, or fun things to do in the garden during the fall and winter months. And I try to, whenever I'm out doing any of these activities, I always like to have a bonfire going. It keeps me nice and warm, and also is, I'm always accumulating dead wood, branches, fallen limbs, compiling them and adding them to the fire while I'm doing the work. And that's actually number one, is to collect as much dead wood as possible. Typically during the summer times, I create little piles around my garden, and in the wintertime, I go and collect those piles, bring them to the fire, and start having my bonfires where I can burn all of those fallen limbs. Particularly doing this in the winter time, it's just going to keep your garden looking a lot cleaner, a lot tidier, and it's really enjoyable to do on a nice, crisp, cool day like today. Now, one of the best things to do during the fall and the winter is to remove and prune back limbs and branches from our trees. This is best done during this time of year because our trees are able to quickly heal over those wounds. And it's also particularly nice because you can get a good visual of where branches and limbs are when there's no leaves on our trees. Now, what we've done in our forest garden is to remove any limbs that are lower than eye level, and that creates a really nice cathedral look. That's one of the best reasons to remove limbs, is to really create open vistas and allow energy to flow into your gardens. The other reasons might be if you have limbs that are crossing or limbs that are dead or dying. This is definitely the best time to remove all of those limbs from our trees. And any branches that might be dangling from branches, get those down while you're at it as well. It's going to really open up and create a nice clean energy that can flow through your garden. Not to mention, if you do have beds with trees in them, by removing some of those lower limbs, you're absolutely going to increase the light in those garden beds. So do be aware, you might be adding more sunlight than you necessarily want, or it might be exactly what you're looking for, which is the case right here in this garden. Now, as gardeners, it's definitely our job to reuse as much of Mother Nature as possible, and one of the best things that you can do is make your own leaf compost, which is just requires accumulating all of those fallen leaves and putting them into a large pile and allowing them to break down over the course of 6 to 12 months. Then you can use that leaf mold compost as a mulch on your flower beds. It's going to improve the texture of your soils as well as increase the nutrient content in those soils. So stay away from accumulating those leaves, putting them in bags and shipping them off. Keep those leaves, utilize them, because they are one of Mother Nature's most profound gifts. As your garden moves into fall and winter and your plants start to go dormant, you might think that fertilizing is not necessary. But actually, fertilizing with specific fertilizers that are high in phosphorus and potassium can actually help to increase root growth during the winter, and it gives them a little bit of an added boost once spring arrives to really just take off that much more quickly. Now, when you're looking for fertilizers that are best to use during this time are ones that have 0 as that first number. We remember those 3 numbers on the front of fertilizers are the proportions of nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. We don't want any nitrogen in our fertilizers that we are applying during the fall and winter, because that is actually going to create green growth when we don't want our plants to have any green growth. We want to use fertilizers that are high in those second and third numbers. I particularly like using these slow release fertilizers because you can just sprinkle them on, and they're going to slowly integrate themselves into the soil over the course of the fall and the winter, giving our plants that little extra boost at this time so that they can grow even more well-rounded once spring and the warmer weather returns. A moment ago, I mentioned leaf mold compost as a great mulch. Unfortunately, you can't make it and use it right away. It does take time, but if you're doing those process every single year, you should have a surplus, which you can then go and add to your garden beds at this time of year. Fall and winter is a great time to add an additional layer of mulch, whether it's leaf mold, compost, or wood chips, both of which are free. If you're interested in getting free wood chips, check out the link in the description below to get wood chips delivered to your house for free. It's super easy. It's what I do. And I love applying it at this time of year to help insulate our plants, but also to provide them with an improved soil texture and nutrient content as they break down. You can apply it to your entire garden beds, or you can spot treat shrubs like I like to do along my shrub borders around the exterior of my garden. Now, another concept that I'm trying to normalize amongst gardeners in this day and age is to leave our grooming for spring. In the past, most gardeners will remove all of that herbaceous perennial materials from our garden beds, but modern research has shown that by leaving them over the winter, you're going to help to feed birds, insects, and you're going to create habitats for those insects to burrow into. So it's better to leave that growth over the winter time, and then you can easily remove it in the springtime. Now, that being said, one thing that I do in the fall and the winter is I remove plants that no longer serve my purposes. I recently got rid of a large butterfly bush and have replaced it with a native viburnum because the butterfly bush, it just required too much effort, and as I'm trying to plant more native plants, it was a really great opportunity for me to get rid of that plant and plant something native that's going to be more easy to take care of and also provide more wonderful nectar content for my local insects. Now, here in the United States, we've been taught that spring is the best time for planting. Now, spring is a great time for planting annuals and veggies and fruits like tomatoes and that, but autumn is probably the very best time to plant things like shrubs and trees. You can honestly plant shrubs and trees in your garden soils as long as your ground is not frozen. In fact, I just got done planting over 100 shrubs in my forest garden over the last couple of weeks. And the reason why fall is such a great time to plant is with those cooler temperatures, our plants are going to be able to acclimate themselves into the soil much more easily without losing all of that moisture content that they lose while the temperatures are really hot with long sunny days. Furthermore, typically in the autumn time, you'll have increased precipitation, which is going to make your life easier because you're not going to have to go out and water so frequently as you do in the springtime. Now, the rule of thumb with regards to planting herbaceous perennials is that you typically want to get all herbaceous perennials planted in the ground about 4 to 6 weeks before your first frost date. And you can easily find your first frost date just by doing a quick search of your zip code, what's my first frost date, online, and you can find the answer to that question. Now, one of the most important concepts that allows you to change a yard into a garden is creating a structure in your garden, whether that's putting edging around your beds or removing tree limbs like I had mentioned earlier. Fall and winter is an awesome time to really think about the structure of your gardens. Do you want to add new flower beds? Do you want to extend the size of your flower beds? Do you want to put a new material as your edging? Fall and winter is a perfect time to do so because you can really see everything really clearly and easily without being obstructed by plant growth. It's a great time to outline new areas of the garden where you want to put new flower beds. It's also a perfect time to install drip irrigation. With a caveat, you don't necessarily need to attach that drip irrigation to your water, as your water should be turned off once those temperatures get down to freezing. But you can absolutely install a drip irrigation during the fall or winter, plug it in the springtime, and then you'll be ready to go. And it's way easier to do when you're not having to manage all of the growth of your plants in the springtime or in the summertime. Now, when I moved into this house 4 years ago, this area behind me was so thickly, densely covered with invasive plants. You couldn't see through it, you couldn't walk through it. It was totally unusable. So I started I started to just really work at removing all of those invasive plants, and I found that it is absolutely the easiest to do during the fall and the winter. Whether you're trying to remove invasive Japanese barberry, honeysuckle, English ivy, multiflora rose, you name it, oriental bittersweet, is definitely easiest to do during the fall and winter because when there's no foliage on the plants, you can see, all right, that's that crappy plant, that's that thing I need to get rid of, and you can use your brush cleaner to really cut them down or really stifle them. You can also use a chainsaw to cut them down and then paint their stumps with chemical herbicide. And when you're not fighting the foliage, when you're not fighting really hot temperatures, and when you have a bonfire where you can just go quickly and throw those invasive plants into the fire to burn them and get rid of them, is definitely my favorite time to do that rather obnoxious chore. And last but not least is to plan for your gardens for next spring. Whether that's watching videos like this one or other videos on my channel to get inspired by plants you can add to your garden, reading books on techniques or by famous gardeners, this is the best time, my favorite time, to do some research, do some investigating, figure out what kinds of plants I can add to my garden next year so that I can create a well-balanced ecosystem that's beautiful for my eyes and beneficial to all of our pollinators and local animal wildlife. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a like, subscribe to our channel. We're bringing new plant-related content every single week. And don't forget, if you're looking for some one-on-one tips on how to create a more beautiful garden, consider joining our YouTube membership where you can talk to me directly and I'll answer each and every one of your questions. Anyways, thanks for joining me here on Plant Vibrations. I'll catch you soon. Ciao. If you have some blank areas in your garden space that you're looking to fill with unique plants, check out my website, plant-vibrations.com. You'll find tons of different perennials and annuals, flowering shrubs, edible plants, indoor plants that my family grows, and we will ship them out across the country and they'll arrive at your doorstep. And every single plant that you purchase from my website will allow me to continue to create content that's going to help our plant community grow and flourish.